And I also want to hear a little bit about how you got to where you are now when it comes to the different positions on set. Because a lot of people starting out, they're wondering what they want to do within film. There's so many different roles. There's pre-production, production, post-production. So how do you fit within all of that, and how do you choose your own path? Or does that path naturally kind of chooses you? So let's talk a little bit about that today. So first, yeah, I want to start with Val first, and I want to hear a little bit about the recent projects she's been working on.
Well, from the top of my mind, I'll say that I've been working on many different things personally for my own production company, which is Hazelnut, and also like personal things. Like this year, I'm gonna produce with EMMANUEL new documentary, which has been a lot of work from the beginning of the year, and it's kind of like my baby right now, but we haven't get to record the interview, so I feel like it's still in process. So if I think of one of the coolest project I've been is the one I was part of in Texas. I actually was art director and gaffer on set, and that's when your question comes to play, and it's like, how did I end up normally being a gaffer and a director, art director? It's like, I think that is like the past that picked me as a photographer. I always tend to control like sets and stuff like that, and then once I took my lighting class, just like brought a whole different world for me, and I loved it. So I started getting really into lighting. I started buying a good equipment, and like that's one of the examples that brought me this far, because it's like, it's crazy how at the beginning I was like, well, I think I can do this. Now I'm like normally a gaffer or an art director. So the project in Texas was kind of short documentary for a brand called C4, and this time was about a photographer, which was super incredible. And I think the best part of that was like, I was in a crew that I just knew the director because I've been working as a editor for him for over 2 years, and then everyone else was local, super talented, and I don't know, it was just like learning so much, proving myself, and actually just had a really great time out there. I love Austin, so yeah, I think that's one of like my highlights so far of this year.
That's awesome. I do want to say, you guys are going to notice I just switched around the lights as Val was talking about lighting. It's getting really sunny here, and it's getting stronger, and I already have a key light over here. So I noticed that the sun was coming in stronger, so I just switched it around, and I think the shot looks much better right now. We're going to have an episode talking just about lighting. We're going to explain everything, so we're going to have Val lead that one, but each one of us has a lot of experience when it comes to that, because we've all worked as cinematographers, as gaffers before in different projects. But yeah, that was just funny because she was talking about that, and I was changing the lights around, and I just thought about that. That's awesome. So just to like go back to that a little bit, C4. So that's the pre-workout brand, right? That's huge, right? How is it working with a huge brand compared to working with a smaller brand for you, Val? But also, from my personal experience, the smaller projects teach you a lot that you can bring to set on those bigger ones. Like, it's different, sure, but it's not like the big ones don't get scary anymore. I walk in with confidence. It's a Tabasco commercial. It's a C4 commercial. It's an eBay project. It's a Sodexo, YMCA, big names, and I just walk in and I'm confident because I know what I want to do because I've done the pre-production work. So how does the smaller projects carry into the bigger ones for you, Val? With that one in mind, right? With that one that you just...
Yeah. Well, I feel like the more you do, the more confident you feel. So since I've been working over a year doing kind of the same thing, maybe playing some roles different than the others, but normally I'm like just super detailed about like that part, and like I felt confident because I could problem solve, and that's a big part of like what I normally do on set. So I was on that commercial. I was also a photographer. Oh, almost forgot. So I was doing still photography for that, and there was a gaffer. So I was like just hanging around in the set, not ready. Like I already set up like the desk and stuff where the pictures will take place. I was like, well, let me help around, and I could just get gaffer work done. Like I got a ladder, I topped some holes. There was like a lot of light coming through, and I was just having fun. Like getting to know the people, and I feel like I've done that ever since Blue Room or the ones around that time. I'm like, yeah, like I can help around, and I love to fix light at the end of the day. So yeah, so like the smaller gigs, just like Blue Room or even just small clients, just kind of give you the same action when it comes to like just get things done on set, so you don't feel anymore like a stranger. It's weird when
Yeah.
you don't know really what to do and they're just standing there and waiting for somebody to tell you something. But if you're putting your hands on it, you just feel like it's natural. It's something that you've done for a while now. So
100%. I agree with what you said, and I recently went through an experience that was similar to that. Emmanuel, I promise we're gonna hear from you next. I just have to go through this through this part because she just reminded me of something. I did a shoot recently, so I usually direct, and I usually direct scene or direct talent, and the recent shoot I did, I was the cinematographer for that, really, the director of photography for that, and it was for two brands here. One's called Oskling, and the other one's called Donkey, and they're huge clothing brands here in Brazil. And the fun thing about it is that I knew I wanted to place a light outside to have that light coming in, creating that moonlight. I knew I wanted to bounce something off the wall to bring back that softer light that I wanted, that white light. I wanted something in the back that was more yellow to create that room, cozy house interior. I knew that, and I knew that from the films we worked on together. I knew that from smaller projects. And I was implementing that on two of the biggest clothing brands there are in my country, and honestly in all of Latin America. So like you bring that, you just bring that. You learn that in class, you learn that in small projects, you learn that for small clients or films, and then you bring that to huge clients, to huge sets. And through knowing that, through being, to having experienced so much, you're able to bring that naturally. You don't have to come up with this theory or this, you just fix things and you get them done really quick. And I think that was really nice. So everyone on set was like, what is he doing? What is he doing? And I was like, outside, like you said, on a ladder, kind of doing this light coming in, and everyone's like, well, what's that? Why is that light blue? And I'm like, all right, hold on. And then when you're done, it's there. It's like a painting. But the thing is,
love that part. Like the part
It's
of
my
being
favorite.
active and just like moving around. Just like if you
Yeah.
have to go upstairs, you go, like.
You get that experience you learned, but then you implement that into the client's brand, which is important. So each client has a different style. Emmanuel, do you want to talk a little bit about what you've been working on? And if you can touch on those subjects, a little bit, of course, of lighting, but also I think of like how each client is different and how you bring that experience to the bigger ones. But maybe you've learned that on a smaller project.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is kind of learning from the smaller projects, learning from the small clients, learning from even the free clients, starting off, let's say, out of college or starting off out of a hobby, doing projects and then learning all those mistakes when you're not getting paid, and then getting better at those techniques as you grow older and as you get bigger clients. Right now, mostly I'm a DP. I usually get called out for shoots. I help to do pre-production. I go on set. I manage. I do all the shots. And depending on my role, a lot of times I'm a producer now, and I kind of help things run. You start realizing all those little things that people are doing, and then you can kind of show them since you're in a higher position, and then you've gone through those things. After college, I kind of went out of my comfort zone, and I tried doing a lot of short films. I couldn't get on a position as a DP because no one knew me, and I didn't have a camera. So I just went around and I was a PA for like 6 months, 7 months, in various different jobs. Ended up pushing up to being a gaffer at a couple, and then I worked on being a gaffer for I think a year and a half on all the, I would say like a year, on a bunch of these free shoots, and that makes you learn. That makes you learn how to be a better DP once you know how to do better lighting.